Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Hack Check podcast. I'm really excited for today's episode. We've got EFC Flyweight Contender Tumelo Manyamala joining us today. Welcome, Tumelo.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. Really excited to chat to you about about your fight so far, and see what the future holds for you.
Yeah,
it's been an exciting ride so far.
So far so good. It's like I've dreamed of this for ages. I don't know if you saw Graham post on my fight week where he put my message where I messaged him in 2019 asking him how to become an MMA fighter. So yeah, for me it's just become a journey, and to think that I'm here is insane because I remember being stuck in university 2019 first year, being in that library, and like I hated studying so much. And then I think it was a John Jones highlight video, and I was watching that one day and I was just like, yo, I have to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it was around that day is when I messaged Graham, asking him. Obviously he never replied. I was just a nobody at that time. But yeah.
I was going to ask you about the story behind that, because it's quite an interesting concept. You go to the top organization straight away, find out how you join. But I mean, hey, aim big from the start.
Yeah, that's my goal. Hopefully one day UFC. That's the ultimate goal. I mean, I'm actually excited to see people like Dricus, people like Cameron, Temba, laying the foundation for us, so that we can get more eyes on South African MMA, which I think is world class.
100%.
In my opinion, yeah,
100%. I've had this conversation with a lot of fighters, coaches, and we were talking a little bit off camera as well about SA MMA, next big thing,
just booming. Yeah. And the amount of knowledge we have here in South Africa is already insane. We have good wrestlers, which means good wrestling coaches. We have excellent strikers and jits as well. I mean, I'm forgetting his name, but he's up in America now training with John Dana.
Luke. Yeah.
Yes, Luke Griffith. Yes. He's doing amazing things.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's just proof that we have it. Yeah.
All laying the foundation for people like yourself to do it. Were you not training at PFA yet when you messaged Graham, or?
No, not yet. So I messaged Graham in 2019. Right. At that time, I was training at Gina's Den. I was doing kickboxing there like twice a week. And then the other 2-3 days I would be at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in Parklands.
Right.
Yeah. So I didn't really have an opportunity to mix up the grappling and the striking, but I was getting grappling and striking training, in the meanwhile. I was a full-time student, so the idea of training in town was insane. Just thinking about transport and but here we are. I just took a chance and things worked out, thankfully.
Look, I mean, kickboxing is not a bad base to start with, and like you say, you were getting the exposure to the pure side of each martial art. Were you? What's your sort of background with the kickboxing then? So how long had you been doing that?
So I started off with karate actually.
Oh, really?
In 2007.
Okay. Didn't we all?
Yeah. You got to start off in the dojo.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started Gojukai Karate, which is also Parkland side. So the side I grew up. Started that in 2007 until 2009. I didn't get my black belt. I got blue belt only, unfortunately. But then there was the gym down the road, Panthers. It was literally down the road.
Yeah.
My brother saw it. My dad saw it. Like, oh, why don't you join here? I was always like reluctant, I was like, karate's better. I went to like SA levels in karate.
Oh yeah?
I think I was third in Western Province. So like I didn't really want to go there. And then I remember my dad dragged me there after a karate class. And my first kickboxing class I did in a karate.
In the gi. Oh, wow. I must have gotten a couple of comments.
Yeah. And like we have like those little flick kicks.
Yes.
So like when they hold pads, most of the learners were doing like the Muay Thai kicks, putting the hips into it. And I was just like flicking my foot, and the coach is looking at me like, what are you doing? Yeah, but I learned.
Did you guys, in your style of karate, do you also have to like stop just before the impact? Or is it full contact? Can you at least make contact? Because I know a lot of karate styles, you actually, it's about control. And then if you go full contact, you go through. You get up until a number of penalties, you get disqualified.
Yes. So I did not do the full contact one. I did just what you described. So especially if you want to punch someone in the face and like he moves his head and your hand goes past it, then, then there's like a penalty and all that. Wow. But it gave me a good foundation, especially since it wasn't full contact, with like especially control with like the power and distance management, especially darting in and out, because you also don't want to get clipped. The moment you get touched, then they stop the fight, then you have to reset, the guy gets a point. And I used to hate that.
Was it a big adjustment? Okay, so you kind of alluded to it not being too much of a big adjustment, but was it a big adjustment going from stopping? I know you practice that control a lot,
right?
But from stopping, I'm sure to now going sort of through your target almost. Was that a bit of a big adjustment, just at least with the timing aspect?
I mean, it wasn't so much of an adjustment. I mean, not going through someone's like face or anything, you have to like stop yourself. So it's just a matter of now I don't have to stop myself. So no, I wouldn't say. No, not really. The biggest adjustment I would say were the kicks. Yeah, literally.
The style of kicking.
From flicking to putting your hips into it, and teeps.
Yeah.
For example, in karate, if I'm remembering correctly, it's called a maigiri. Yeah, so it's just like a flicking kind of teep to the
solar plexus.
Solar plexus. But where in kickboxing you also have a push kick. So like those type of movements with the hips, that was the biggest adjustment for me.
Yeah. No, my friend actually did kickboxing at a fairly high level. I mean, he went to SA champs, and his biggest weapon just in setting up things and what he liked to do when someone's trying to march forward is he loved that teep. Always used to tell me,
it's the worst.
Powerful weapon. It's the worst to receive. It's good to do. It's like a nice feeling. Yeah. And then the kickboxing, how did that go? So once you started getting into it, how did that go for you?
It went well, actually. Within the first year and 6 months, I went to SA's SASCA. And I'm not sure if they're still around, but that was in Pretoria, where I got first place in Africa, and for Muay Thai I got third place.
Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, it went well.
What age were you there? Sorry.
That was 2010. I was 11.
Oh wow.
11. Yeah.
Sure.
So quite a bit of experience in the kickboxing side. I remember I had so many fights. Like I don't even remember how many fights I had. I had medals on medals on medals. Funny story about that. I have like 3 of those medals left.
Really?
My little sister at the time was a little artist. So I came home and like all the ribbons from the medals were like used on my little artwork. And you can't get mad. It's like your little sister. So yeah.
They're gone.
That's gone.
Were there any memorable artworks at least that you could salvage and be like, there my medals are?
Yes, I mean just like the medallion itself, not the but I have 2 trophies that I got from that SASCA tournament. Yeah, so those survived, thankfully.
Yeah, that's good. And then after that, moving into sort of grappling and jiu-jitsu and that kind of thing, what was that like for you?
That was a big adjustment. I remember I used to train at Panthers. I used to do kickboxing there, and they were MMA gym. So they had the jiu-jitsu and all that, and jiu-jitsu would be before the striking class. And I would come, a few minutes earlier to wrap up and all that. And I remember looking at these guys rolling on the floor thinking, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
How on earth is that going to help? But then 2017, January 2017, I started jits full time. So then I had quit, not quit, just taken some time away from kickboxing. Had a kind of bad experience the December before. Yeah, so I was riding finals, right? And I was gonna have my first pro-am fight. And so I was training finals, like matric finals. So
Wow.
And I get there on the day of weigh-in, like fighter's not there. Apparently they knew it for a while, and they wanted me to fight some guy who was like almost 10 kilos heavier than me. Then, that wasn't. I feel like I didn't get the support from the gym as much as I should have. And then I decided, you know what, let me just go do some jits for a while, just to branch out, and it was the best decision I could have possibly made. I walked into Gracie, and I enjoyed it from day one. It was a bit weird with the movements and having a guy like right in your space, choking you out and all that.
Which is completely opposite to what you used to in kickboxing. You want to have space unless you want to get on the inside.
Distance, keep him away.
Yeah.
But I loved it. I fell in love with it. I would spar, so I would just be doing jiu-jitsu about 6 times a week, and I would spar on Mondays only at Silverback MMA, and that's how I went into my first and only amateur MMA fight.
Oh yes.
So it was just Gracie and then sparring once a week, and they got me there. Thankfully, it went well. Yeah, and that was 2018. Fast forward like 3 years later,
into
4 years later, into the EFC.
Only after, so how long, how long did you train in jiu-jitsu or prepare for that fight? Because to go from, it's just one of the martial arts, whether it's kickboxing, karate, jiu-jitsu, to then putting everything together and then actually then putting it together and fighting somebody that's actively trying to hurt you. That's a big task. So how long did you train for that?
Jeepers. I wasn't really training for a fight. I just wanted to keep my stand-up fresh in my mind, that's why I would go once a week. And then my coach at the time, I think it was like a month before, told me, "Oh, you want to fight something?"
Wow.
And then I was like, "Yeah, sure." But I still carried on training the same. But the part that really wows me is that I'm not sure if you know the Gracie curriculum, right?
Yeah, I do, yes. I actually I wanted to ask you, I'll ask you, well, let me ask you now. Who your coach was there? Because I had Gary King on here talking about the Gracie curriculum. Was he still there at that time?
No, he had left. The head coach was James.
Yes, James's friend. They started it together.
Yeah, they started together.
Yes.
And
I think it's 80 classes to blue belt, right? For the Gracie curriculum or something like that.
It's a lot of, they give you like a card, and like every time you come to class, they mark that card in.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember how many, but it was a lot.
I can't remember if you said 40 or 80, but yeah, you've got to finish those. And you're not allowed to roll as a white belt.
No, you're not. So they have a combatives program.
Yes.
Which is 30 or 32 classes.
Okay, yes.
Right. And I was only doing that. So I wouldn't roll. I wouldn't have any advanced moves like fancy armbars or any of that. So I did that and sparred, and I survived an MMA fight. Yeah. To me, to this day, it's like, I can't believe I did that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it, because I know they put a lot of emphasis on someone like attacking you in the Gracie combative. So So if you were to do your, let's say, I don't know, there's always this debate of which is better, if you're going to do combatives or you're going to do sport jiu-jitsu, but were you prepared enough having done that combatives?
Yes, I would say, I mean, they teach you things like controlling the posture and like when you're in guard. So I'd say I was prepared in a sense that combatives also, it prepares you for strikes, rounded strikes.
Yeah.
Right. But sport jiu-jitsu also has its benefits because you do jiu-jitsu like that, and then, but when someone's coming at you 100%, it's another feeling.
Exactly.
It's another feeling. So I'd say having the best of both worlds is the best way. Yeah.
So how did that fight go? What is the end result?
End result, I won unanimous decision. It was mostly stand up. I was a bit taller than the guy.
Yeah.
Nice and lanky. We went to the ground, and that's where it surprised me. Like the combatives mounting techniques, like that worked. I almost got, I think it was an armbar, a triangle. Yeah, like it still blows my mind.
Yeah,
honestly.
So why only the one amateur fight?
They just went a lot of MMA competitions, to be honest.
Okay.
And after that MMA fight, funny story is that I didn't want to do MMA.
Oh, really?
To be honest, like I did that. I was like, oh, you know what? That's
one and done.
Yeah, I weight over my shoulder.
Got the t-shirt. Shoulders. You can stop now.
Yeah, I can stop. I went back to Gracie, rolling like 6 times a week, and then fast forward to a year later, where I'm like, okay, now I want to do MMA, and yeah. So luckily, I just kept it fresh, kept the knowledge of the stand-up and the jits fresh. So when I decided to make that jump, yeah. It was good. Then I decided to go pro. I didn't know where I was going to train or how I was going to train. So I just emailed MMA SA. I was like, hey, can I get my license under you guys are testing? And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. We have a testing, I think it was 2 weeks after I emailed them at PFA. And like the moment I walked in that gym, I was like,
you feel
holy moly. I've never seen a gym like that, apart from like UFC embedded and all that, like the mats and like the ring. I was like, oh, okay.
There's something in the air, dude.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is a nice gym. I did my professional license on the same day as Jess. Yeah, so we did it together. And then that was that. And then I had a friend from Gracie, Liana. She was like, okay, we've been invited to a jits class at PFA. You want to go roll? I was like, yeah, sure, Went to roll. She's like, oh, you should sign up. You should sign up. I get the form, I sign up, and there we are. Yeah, that was like end of 2021. Then December 2021, I started PFA. And yeah, and here we are.
Nice.
Yeah.
And but now with the license, so with the to be a pro, is there no minimum like number of amateur fights or anything like that? And
not that I saw. I didn't see there was a minimum. They asked me what type of combat experience I had, and all that. But like you do physical tests, so like you have to do like 2 mount escapes, 2 armbar escapes, and all that. So you need that knowledge, which luckily I had. Yeah, but yeah.
Wow. Okay. Because I always used to think that like I don't know if it's changed since, but I always used to think like EFC and I guess UFC in the US wanted like X number of MMA fights, amateur fights before you go pro.
Right.
But I guess I mean if you can put everything together and like you say you can prove that you're not a complete novice or an idiot in there, then
because I put there with my my kickboxing fights. I mean I got a gold at the AJP Continental Pro. End of 2021. It was literally like 2 months before that.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean
that all qualifies you. I mean, yeah, you at least just showing that you're not. I guess the biggest thing would just be, like I said, you don't know what you're doing. It's a fight. Yeah. You don't play MMA.
Exactly.
So oh, very cool. Okay, and then from there, you had your first fight in
2018.
No, your first pro fight in the EFC.
Oh,
21 or 22?
2022.
22.
April. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And what was the sort of I mean, was the conversation always when you joined PFA like, I want to be a fighter and get me there?
Yeah. So from day one, I mean, the first time I walked into there was to get my pro license. So like Mike knew that I wanted to go pro, but he still asked me before my pro fights, like, oh, would you like to have a few amateur fights and all that? I was like, I mean, I could have, but in my mind, I wanted to go pro. I felt like the training I was receiving, well, I still am receiving at PFA, like prepares you very well for the professional. Yeah. Yeah. So
Mike just looks like a type of guy that, because I mean, obviously I've seen a lot of, I mean, I've been there at night a couple of times. When you guys have the MMA group together, we've had a couple of open mats and things like that. Like I know a bit, but I'm obviously not part of the gym and know the intimate details and everything, but he just looks like the type of guy that will have a game plan for every scenario.
He has a game plan.
Yeah.
He does the research. He cares about his fighters.
100%. Yeah.
So everything you want. I felt like it was too good to be true, to be honest. Like to have a gym like that in Cape Town that can take me all the way. Because I feel like I don't need to necessarily change gyms even if I want to go to, let's say, UFC. I feel like everything I have, everything I need is in one place and it's at home.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And if you do there, or let's say when you do get there, don't change the things that got you there.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, look, like Mike, he has years and years of experience, a real proper scholar of the game.
Yeah.
They in the early days got international people come down, you know, show them the ropes, so to say. And yeah, it's early days in South African MMA, so a lot of people might still feel like they need to go overseas. Yeah. But, you know, people are going to think I'm a stuck record, and I always say this, but like, and it's the most famous example of it, but Conor McGregor, when he was a kid, said to his parents, I want to be an MMA fighter. And they said, show me somebody from Ireland that's done it.
Yeah.
And he couldn't. And he had to do it himself. Yeah. And he ended up becoming the biggest star in history. And if people at the time would have been like, oh, but no one from Ireland has done it, and show us how big the gym is.
Yeah.
You know, it would have been easy maybe for somebody to give up and just say, well, you know, we're not there, let's go overseas. But he didn't have to do it. And I feel like South African MMA, we're at that point now where people are going to look back in a couple of years.
Yeah.
And everybody like Mike and Dricus and everybody, okay, Dricus already has the recognition, but people are all going to see that we have the people here, we have the skills here, the gyms here, everything.
The resources, everything. And
exactly.
especially in a case like that, like you mentioned, McGregor, the Austin where, or any Irish fighters, like it takes like a crazy amount of belief. Like I wouldn't even call it belief. I'll call it craziness, madness.
Yeah,
to think that you can go that far. I mean, even on my side, you know, I was studying. I am still finishing off my studies. Construction.
Right.
It's like explaining to my parents, like, oh, I don't want to be in construction. I want to go fight for a living in a cage. You know, they have YouTube. They can Google MMA. The first thing you're gonna see is some
knockouts or something
guy.
Yeah.
So it was an adjustment. I remember when I told my parents I was gonna go do my professional license. They were like, "How are you gonna be a professional?" You know, but not in a bad way to put me down or any of that. I know they support me. You know, like really support me. I wouldn't be in this position where I am without like their support and all the love that they're giving me. But yeah, they asked me like, how am I going to do it? And
how are you going to make money, or?
No, like, how am I going to be a professional?
What's the road?
What's the road? And at the time, like I mentioned, I was still training at Gina's Den and Gracie. So I didn't know how on earth I was going to train like a professional. I just took a leap of faith, did my test. And as soon as I did my test, I knew where I wanted to train. And so just have to take that leap of faith, man. That's all it is.
100%.
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said earlier, like there's I mean, Mike is one of the people that can actually guide you, and have an answer for every scenario, and prep you for every scenario, and really be a mentor. That's everyone needs a mentor.
Yeah. So he's very good at the mental aspect as well. You know, and scenarios, like drilling scenarios. Like we drill so many scenarios. That's why, like, before a fight, I know, you know, I could get knocked out like in a crazy way, but knowing that I've been like in every position, in every scenario, it really calms me down. Like it makes me calm.
Yeah.
You know? You just have to accept that I could get hurt, but also you've been to this like 1,000 times in training. So yeah, it's he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
Does it still feel different though when you get into the hexagon? I mean, if you know, you can drill something a lot of times, and I do get that it does make it a lot easier. But is it not still a little bit nerve-wracking when you walk in there? Or
I'd say the nerve-wracking part for me is like when you first enter, and EFC have this thing where Khoto will introduce the fighters. You say introducing first, you know, fighting out of, and then there's this like 10 to 20 second pause when the ring girls, if you're watching on TV, it's the ring girls holding up the
showing, coming sign down, sitting down.
Yeah,
you're right.
But for us, like we don't see that, so we're like, what's going on? So it's like a awkward pause, which is really nerve wracking. But like as soon as the buzzer goes and he throws his first punch, I throw my first punch, it's like
done.
Yeah, you're in the zone again. Like you're in the zone, you can think clearly. You've been here before, you know. Yeah. Yeah.
And in terms of just again back to PFA, just there's a lot of nice camaraderie and competition between you and a bunch of the people there.
Yes.
That also obviously helps, you know, because you all guys all are going to the same common goal.
Yes.
I think Adrian and Ryan and people like that. That obviously helps, and you guys can do it together as a team and prep properly.
It motivates you so much. I remember last year, 2022.
Don't worry, between 2020 and 2022 for me feels like 1 year.
I know.
It's like the I don't know if we have to beep this out, but the basically the 3 years rolled into one. I don't know if you're allowed to say that. I don't know if you're allowed to say that on YouTube. I don't know. So we might have to beep that out. But
yeah, it all just became one day. I remember 2021. It was like there's a blur. I mean 2020. Sorry.
You see what I'm saying? Everything's 1 year basically. Yeah. So yeah.
But so last year I started doing my conditioning in the morning alone. So I'd have a strength and conditioning coach, like he'd be there. You know, if I needed help, I could ask him. But like this year, you know, we have people like Sanchez that join on, and then are joining me with like the morning conditioning type of thing. And it really helps, man. It really helps. And like the brotherhood that we have at PFA is insane. Like this morning I was training with Denver Isaacs, right? Future Muay Thai champ, I'm saying.
All right.
Just like the competition. Like whenever we sprint, I always tell him, "Oh, bro, I'm faster than you." Knowing that he's faster than me, just to make competition. You know, who can kick harder? But it's like healthy competition, brotherhood, kind of pushing each other to the limit every time. Yeah, that's something that helps a lot.
No, for sure. And so now in EFC, you're 4-0. Let's talk a little bit about your last fight, Dauda Rajuba.
Dauda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tricky one.
Was it a satisfying finish? Okay, let's start at the beginning, actually.
Right.
Yeah, it was a tricky one, you said.
It was a tricky one. He was a replacement for Martin Tinonkondo, which is a striker. So also taller than me, you know, so we had to deal with the range. And then we get a last minute replacement. That's a grappler. And he's originally a bantamweight. So he was like huge. Like I remember standing at the face-offs, the weigh-in, for the first time ever, I had to look up.
Yeah.
To look into his eyes. Yeah. So adjusting to knowing that you're fighting a grappler now, I mean, that is adjustment. But as I say, like we drill everything. So even though it was short notice, like we know how to deal with a grappler.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he came in, I thought he was gonna strike more, to be honest. Because I stalked him on Instagram a bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's natural, dude. I mean, right? you wanna know a little bit. I mean, did you know much about him before?
No, I hadn't heard of him at all.
Yeah.
And then I think he has like belts for like striking and all that. So I thought, okay, another striker that has jits, because I watched these he had one pro fight, but that was in the Congo. And it literally ended in like 40 seconds. Literally just went in, took the guy down, choked him. Right. So there wasn't a lot of like fight footage.
Yeah.
So on the Instagram, I'm seeing as a striker. From the fight, I'm seeing as a grappler.
So you just got to be prepared for everything.
Yeah, I got to prepare for everything. But then he had a good guard game. He almost caught me in a guillotine. But I've been almost caught in guillotine a lot.
You've been in that scenario a lot of times.
A lot. And then I popped out of the guillotine. You know, I landed a few strikes on the ground. And then he almost got me in an armbar. And I had to get out of that armbar. And then he was trying for a triangle. It was like, and that's all in the first round.
Tricky.
Tricky stuff. So, but thankfully I managed to get some ground and pound. Mikey loves a ground and pound. Yeah, he loves it. I love it as well.
Yeah.
The second round came. Like as soon as I tried to throw a punch, he like engaged and clinched, and then went to the ground again. It was kind of frustrating in a way when you're on top and you like want to hit the guy, but like he's like holding your arm or holding your posture down. At the end of the round, I got to mount and I started landing some nice elbows, you know, and to be honest, if that round was a bit longer, I think I could have finished it second round. Third round came along. I mounted him. No, he pulled guard. He pulled guard. I passed his guard, got to mount, and then he tapped from the strikes when I was in mount.
Was that surprising that he tapped from the strikes, or
because like I just postured up in the mount, and I was starting to work, and I had like 2 minutes, 2 minutes and a few seconds on the clock, and I wanted to open up, and then he tapped. Like he tapped once, and I was so confused. Like, what is he tapping to? And then I hit him again, and then he tapped again, and then and then the referee called it. Weird feeling, man. Weird feeling.
Yeah, what are you feeling? Because I mean, as a fighter, and I don't want to be that person that says, you know, someone shouldn't tap to strikes,
right?
But at the same, because I mean, I'm not a fighter, and I'm not going to tell fighters what to do, be an armchair critic or whatever.
Right.
But I feel like if you've made that decision, and I feel I can say this because I didn't make that decision to be a fighter, and people have made that decision to be a fighter. So you know what comes with fighting, right?
Yeah.
So you know that ground and pound is a part of it. Okay, things happen, you know, and in a fight anything can happen. But I feel like if you've made that decision to be a fighter and you accept the consequences, you know the consequences, it's not right to tap to strikes. I think, you know, you know, it's just. It's about heart, I guess. You know, maybe I don't know. I don't want to say something and look like an armchair critic, but for fighters to tap is a bit, and it's been happening a lot lately. So I don't know. Maybe what do you think? Is someone trying to look after their health and not take unnecessary damage, or what do you think it is?
Honestly, it all comes down to what you've been through in your training camp. To be honest, because I've done ground and pound with Jelson Sosa. And he's like a welterweight.
Where he's on top.
Yeah, where he's on top.
Yeah, and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Black belt. Yeah. Welterweight. I'm a flyweight. He's been like smashing me. And like you have to move. Coach Mike will be there like, move. While like a black belt is mounting you, you know, pressing his hips into your hips, and then you just have to survive that. And it's very hard to survive mentally, especially. Physically, not so much. Physically, you can get battered. I think it's just a mind that gives up. But and I've been through that. So in that position, I doubt I would tap from strikes. I mean, you never know what could happen. I don't want to jinx myself in the future, but I guess he gets to fight another day. Keeping everyone healthy and safe. You know, that's what the sport should be about. You know, I'm not trying to break someone's face, you know, that we sportsmen at the end of the day. He has the same goals as I have. He's just another me, you know. So
But is it a weird feeling though? I mean, like what emotions go through your mind? Are you just happy that you got the victory? Or does it feel like, I don't know how to put it, like does it feel like maybe because he tapped there's like a blemish on it, or how does it feel, you know?
I don't think there's a blemish.
No, I'm not saying, and I'm not saying there is one. But what goes through your mind after something like that?
I mean, that's just compliments to my ground and pound.
Okay,
to be honest.
Which is that's true. That is
So maybe he gave up a bit early, but that's not your problem. Yeah, and I knew I had the gas tank. It was my first time in the third round, so I felt like I still had the gas tank to carry on, which is like which is a good thing for me, because my first 3 fights, they got stopped in the second round. And there's always that thing. I was like, what if you go to the third round and you gas? You know, so I'm happy I made it through the third round. Well, not through, but like halfway. And like the feeling when someone taps or the ref stops the fight is like, I don't know, the first thing I do, like, I like scream. It's like, I don't know, it's like all the doubts that you had throughout the training camp. Like, oh, this guy could knock me out. You know, all those doubts you have to like fight off throughout the training camp. But they're still there. You know, and when you win, it's like, those doubts were wrong. You were right.
All right.
So it's like a big relief. That's why I like scream every time, like, jeepers. Yeah.
It's natural for those doubts to creep in anything you do.
Yeah.
I mean, like you say, any scenario can,
Yeah.
anything can happen. Any scenario can present itself. And you know, afterwards, I'm pretty sure it's just relief, like the moment, you know, you're in the moment, you're just ecstatic that you won, and actually all of that, whatever happened in the fight, doesn't really matter. You know?
And then after my fight, Mike usually buys me a pizza.
All right.
And that you know, gets into the mind. I'm like, screaming
reward, reward at the end of it.
Yeah.
And the fight before that, dude, I want to ask you with Julio Plaikis, the weigh-in.
Yes.
So, what it like? He was like in your face and like saying stuff, and then it was like he was like shaking a little bit when he started doing the pummeling. Whatever, it was a bit weird. But what did he say to you like at the actual weigh-in? Can you remember?
I mean, it was kind of loud, but I got a few words. He was like, "I'm coming at you with everything I've got." So I was just like, okay, because especially at weigh-ins and face-offs, I think fighters, they try intimidate their opponents a lot. But the way I look at it is that they're trying to convince themselves.
Right.
Like if you know you're gonna beat the guy and you're very confident, you don't need to tell him or shove him or any of that. You just be quiet, be like, okay, we'll see tomorrow. But the more someone does that, it kind of gives me more confidence because I know that they have to hype themselves up. That's the only way they could look me in the eye is to hype themselves up. I don't need to be hyped up so far. So far, yeah. But so it gives me more confidence, to be honest. It gives me more confidence. I remember that fight. He had a fight against Wade. Wade
Cuspe, from Adford.
I remember watching that highlight like 1,000 times. Like it was first round, literally just grabbed his hand and went boom, and the guy was out. I was like, jeepers, I'm fighting this guy.
Yeah.
But thankfully everything went to plan.
Some nice scrambles in that.
Nice scrambles.
And nice finish.
Yeah, he had nice scrambles there.
Yeah, well, both of you did.
Yeah, I remember. I think I got him down with like I hooked his leg on the when we were on the cage.
Yeah,
and I got him down, and then he immediately like
he swept you over. I think. Yeah.
Then I had to like think fast and get back up and like
Yeah, it was like a scramble after scramble after scramble. Yeah, or like a reversal to reversal to reversal to reversal. Yeah. It was really, really nice to watch, dude. Yeah, and then that head kick at the end. Nice head kick. But I mean, even when so I don't know if you remember, you and I've rolled actually a couple of times in those open mats. Yes. And dude, I mean, I weigh a whole lot more than you do, and like your scrambling is really, really good. Like, and you don't stop moving. That's the thing, you know. And then that's also one of the reasons, also like in that fight, like I think both of you, and that's what made it so entertaining. Before obviously the finish,
right,
which was the most entertaining part. But like as someone that does grappling, like just watching those scrambles, it's and it seems like everybody at PFA and everyone even just everyone that does MMA, they've got that mentality of the scramble the whole time.
Gotta keep moving.
Yeah.
The moment you stop moving, the ref stops the fight.
Yes.
That's the mentality that Mike also draws into our heads. Like even if when you're getting battered in training and like underneath mouth, it's like move. If you don't move, the ref is gonna stop the fight. You have to like push on the hips or do something. You know, that also works the gas tank a lot.
Yeah.
I find that not a lot of people are aware that the scramble is like another type of cardio. Ground and pound is another type of cardio.
Clinching.
Yeah, clinching. You know, it takes a lot out of you. And for my past 2 fights where I fought the grapplers, you know, one thing I saw with Plaikis is that when we were on the cage, he started to gas a little bit. And it's not to say I was fresh, but when you hear the guy like breathing heavy, it gives you more energy. It's like a boost. It's like a Red Bull, you know, it gives you wings. And even with this Rajabu, after he tried the guillotine, like as soon as he let go, I could feel like he was breathing
that was
heavy.
Like
So like that gave me motivation. Like I just wanted to smash.
Yeah, you can. Can you feel like almost their motivation go when something like that doesn't work?
Yes, you can feel it. Especially like that guillotine. I felt he was putting like everything into that. I watched the fight over and like I saw his face. It was like you know, and yeah, I mean, once you do that and it fails, just like wrestling, you know, when you fight a wrestler and then he shoots for a takedown, it might not be tiring for him, but like if you stuff his takedown, you sprawl, like mentally, he's like, oh man, what else do I have?
Yes.
And then he might not be physically tired, but once your mind gets tired, then your body will follow. It's one thing I've also experienced. Yeah.
And that's I guess, you know, now that answers kind of the question about tapping to the strikes, because you broke his will, basically. I mean, he went for it would seem like he went for the Hail Mary pulling guard because he had all those submission attempts.
Right.
And once that didn't work, you passed his guard. It was kind of like, well, I can't do anything else anymore. So maybe that's the answer. You know, maybe he just knew, like, he wasn't going to shake you off. Don't take unnecessary damage, and
I mean,
broke his will.
He gets to fight another day. But hopefully he's back in the EFC. I mean, hopefully for him. But I don't know if you saw there's that whole issue with the mouth guard after the second round. So second round is done. We go to our stools, whenever we're talking to our coaches. Third round must start now. And then he doesn't have his mouth guard, apparently. So he starts blaming me. He's like, I'll put it in my pants. I'm like, I'm showing him the whole time. Like, I don't even have
serious?
Pockets. Yeah. And then he starts telling my corner, which is Mike and Morty. I'm not sure if you know Morty, but he's like, oh, you guys have it. They're like, oh, we don't have it. So there's like another full minute before we started fighting again. So
like a delay tactic.
Yeah, delay tactic. The ref asked someone, thankfully he thought really fast, to go get an extra mouth guard.
Yeah.
Obviously it wasn't molded and anything. Yeah. So he put it in. And then as we're about to fight, like his corner throws in his original.
Oh, you're joking.
I promise. So it's like, that is like the first time I've ever seen that. Like, and I watch a lot of fights.
Yeah.
Like
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I spend my whole day most of the time watching fights.
Yeah.
That's when I'm supposed to be studying. Don't tell my parents.
Yeah, don't show them this episode.
Yeah.
Mouth guard gate. So were there any consequences that you know?
Yeah, I think he got fined a bit. But I mean, EFC is the biggest MMA promotion in Africa. So I'm just hoping he didn't ruin his chances to fight in EFC again. Because I think he could do really well. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
I guess you'll find out soon enough if there's other cards and things like that coming through. And now going forward, do you know what your next fight is?
Not at the moment. But yeah, people are telling me about the title. I mean, if it comes, it comes. I'm not gonna, go running after it and all that. I know I'm fairly new in the as a professional. It's my second year only. So if they say I deserve a title, maybe I'll go for the title. But I'm open to anything. Yeah.
Is Shorty still the champion, or what's happening with him? I know he was at UAE Warriors, and is he just jumping between promotions, or do you not know?
I'm not too sure what's gonna happen with the title, if he's gonna give it up. Funny story, I was actually talking to Gift Walker.
I was gonna ask you about Gift. Yeah,
I talked to him at my weigh-in. He was there with Nicole and his coach JP. Yeah, JP. Yes, and
House of Tinkerbell.
Yeah, I was asking him, what's happening with the title, and he said Shorty might give it up. I'm not too sure though, because he's fighting Eris.
Yes,
so.
Sorry, Eris. I said UAE Warriors, but it's Eris. Yeah,
no, he
was UAE Warriors.
Yeah.
I forgot he moved to Eris as well now.
Eris.
Yeah, with the Mart as well there.
So we'll see what he decides. If he decides to keep the title, there's some up and coming flyweights that'll give him a nice kind of challenge. But if not, there's still a whole bunch of flyweights that are ready for a title shot. So the future's looking good. Let's just say, whether he gives it up or keeps it. Yeah.
But I was gonna say you and Gift. I mean, I don't know if you guys are friends or would fight each other, but 4-0.
Right.
Even at the worst, it's an interim title while they decide what they do with Shorty.
That would be a good fight. Because I watched his last fight against I think Sarawi, the French guy. And Gift, he has this thing like when he turns on and then he just comes forward, like he has that fire in him. And I think I mean, we would make a good fight because he has the striking, he has the grappling, the wrestling. So yeah, and he's a nice big guy as well, big guy for our division. So yeah, it'll be some crazy scrambles, and I love
good striking exchanges.
Good striking. I love that he comes forward as well. He's very confident with that. My first fight, it was against Tumelo Manyamala, right? He was not a grappler, a kickboxer. So I could tell he was very confident. So he came forward at first, but then once we exchanged something, he started moving back the whole time. And that's like, I don't like chasing people all the time, but it was a good fight though. My second fight, Tyrell Lowe, he actually caught me more than anyone has caught me in any of my fights. Like, he took chances. He went for
he went for
combinations.
It was gonna die wondering.
And that was fun. To be honest, that was fun. I get to show off my striking a bit. But last two fights, grapplers. You always have to have the grappling aspect in your game. I guess it's very important to fight grapplers.
Of course.
Fingers crossed, please. Next fight, striker.
Let's put it out there. I don't know if the EFC ever gets to see this. Maybe we clip a little short or something like that. But Tumelo and Gift Walker, interim title at the very least, guys. Come on, that'll be a fun fight for us to watch.
It'll be a banger.
Be a banger. Yeah. And so now I saw the other day you got your purple belt. So we're talking about grappling and stuff like that, but you have your kickboxing background and that's your base, but you're not a slouch at all, and your fights show that. But in the pure art of jiu-jitsu, not a slouch at all now, getting your purple belt.
Thankfully I was a slouch for a long time.
Really?
I'll tell you that. But I'm grateful I got my purple belt. It was literally the week after I got the victory in EFC. So it was an amazing feeling, to be honest. And then a week later, I signed with the Espera management.
I saw that.
It's like, jeepers, these past 2-3 weeks have been like
amazing.
Hopefully it lasts a bit longer.
Were you not signed with anybody before Espera? So how did you do the management side of your career kind of thing? Were you doing that yourself? Was Mike helping you? How did it?
Mike
was doing it,
as I liked. Magic Mike. He does all the magic in the background. He got me into the EFC. I didn't even know how. I mean, I got my pro license. I was training. He was sending videos of me to the EFC. And I'm grateful for that. To be honest.
No. Say it again. Say it many times. But Mike really is you guys have that the moniker, the mantra, or the slogan of the PFA family, like mom and dad of PFA. And it really does seem like Jess and Mike are like a mom and dad kind of thing, for your MMA family.
They do a lot. They do a lot. I remember last year Jess was helping us out with our our media, social media, telling us the do's and don'ts and how to grow your social media. And I'm not good at that, to be honest.
It's not very natural if you don't have a lot of experience with it.
I'll post and then I'll tell myself, okay, tomorrow I must post again. Then I only post the next month.
Right.
I should get better at that. But she gave us a few pointers and how to grow your following and all that. So it's not just a fighting aspect. It's also a mental aspect that they cover and growing your personal brand as well. So it gives you literally everything. Everything,
And Espera now, what are they? Are they going to just look after your contracts, of course, and make sure that everything's what you want? And are they doing any other kind of, besides the marketing part, collaborating with them?
So I'm still very new to this whole signing with a management thing. So so in my mind, they're gonna get me good fights. Hopefully out of the country, maybe, who knows, EFC, maybe there's we go for the title, who knows. But so in my mind, they're gonna get me good fights, fair fights. I also have Mike behind them, to make sure it's a good fight. And so we'll see how it goes. Still fairly new to this whole management, and
look, only good things can come from it. I mean, And you're young, but also, you know, your career is young, as you said earlier. So I think when you take it one step at a time, and they'll know, they'll have had a plan.
Yeah.
You know, and Mike would have had a plan, and everybody. It's good mentors that you'll have around you. You know, to guide you to the next path, and you know where you want to go. You're going to work hard to get there, and keep working hard.
Flyweight champ, baby.
There we go.
Let's go.
There we go. Exactly. And look, I mean, even if you know, the nice thing about MMA now is, if somebody else comes along, there are other. Obviously, the UFC is the big one, but there are other promotions like where you can still go make a name for yourself before the UFC.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, there's 4, 5, 6 of them. Yeah. You know, that you could do it at.
Yeah, and UAE Warriors is just one of them. They have a few South African fighters. Eris now they have a few South African fighters. Pico is doing well there. So yeah, hopefully there are more organizations that start looking into South Africa, because we're good, man. We're good. Like even if you watch the IMMA world champions, we have a world champion in our gym. Actually,
yes, Young Assassin, I think is the nickname. Humble assassin. Yes. 2-time or 3-time world champion or something like that. Yeah,
she's a beast. Yeah, she's a beast. I mean, she dominates, you know, all the Russian people that everyone's afraid of. Yeah, that's just to say, like, we have it. We have it. Whatever it is, I don't know what it is, but we've got it.
Yeah. We're a fighting nation, man. I think, you know, there's been centuries of conflicts on the old southern tip of Africa, dating back to the 1600s all the way through to now. So everybody here has fighting in their blood.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, whether they know it or not, whether they explore it or not, everybody has fighting in their blood.
I think fighting is primal. It's like the most natural part of a human. I feel like fighting on the street maybe is not the best way to let out your primal energy. But like if you have like a gym close to you, you know, go do some jits. Even karate, go do some karate. Go do, you know, kickboxing. It's a good way to kind of get in touch with your primal side, you know, without bruising and battering someone on the street or any of that.
Yeah.
Because like you'll find like the people that are going hard in the gym, they're like the nicest guys on the street. You know, even if someone pushes them, they'll be like, whoa, you know.
Because they also know the dangers of what can happen, you know. You can see endless videos of people fighting on the streets and not knowing when to stop.
Exactly.
You know, or you'll also always see it's like 3 versus 1, or like, you know, unfair circumstances. And those people, if you were to say to them, listen, man, you don't have to fight on the street with all these bad things that can happen. Just come to a gym and you guys can fight. There's pads on the ground. If you fall back, put some gloves on. They most of the time wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because then they'll be facing reality.
And it would most likely be a fair fight, or maybe have an unfair fight against them. But even if it's a fair fight, you know, they most of the time they wouldn't do it.
And like, there's so many variables on the street as well. I mean, like you take the guy to the ground and like you're thinking, oh no, I'm gonna check this guy, and then his friends come and kick your head in.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, or even if you're a striker and like let's say you get someone with a good shot, bam, with like a right hand, and then he falls and hits his head on the concrete.
Exactly.
Like that's there's so many variables, man. Fighting on the street is scary. It's scary. Yeah.
Like you a very chill dude and everything like that, but when you get into the cage, it's a complete different situation or story. How do you does that switch just something from years of training that you can flip? Because, you know, a lot of people talk about, and this is why martial arts is so good compared to people on the streets, because people have I think Jordan Peterson said it the best, is like, you need to have the ability.
Yes.
I think he said to be a savage or something like that, you know, and you need to know when to control it and when to use it.
So a good person is someone that can control their danger or something.
Something along those lines, when they need to be control, or something like that, is that just a natural thing that, you know, that just when you get in a cage, that's like, the switch flips, you know, or is that something that you kind of had to learn to be a little bit more aggressive?
I mean, it's just, okay, let's say for example, when I spar at my gym, right? Like we spar, we can do a few hard rounds, but like my intention, like when I punch my training partner, I don't like to hurt him. I find that the difference between, you know, training outside of the cage and in the cage, that switch is like, okay, I'm here, and when I punch this guy, I want him to feel it, or I want him to get knocked out, or I want to cut him, or any of that. For me, that's like the biggest switch, that I'm here to, to
kill or be killed.
Yeah, it sounds violent, but to hurt someone. You know? It's part of the job. Yeah, and the guy also is trying to hurt you.
Exactly.
And I remember my first 2 fights when we were about to fight, standing on either side of the cage. I remember thinking like, I'm trying to go to UFC, right? So if this guy beats me, that kind of
takes my
chances away. So this guy right here is trying to ruin my dreams. So it kind of,
you can't let him do that.
Yeah, I can't let him do that. Like it's not personal. Like I don't hate the guy, but yeah, I have to achieve my goals. I sacrificed a lot to be able to do this. Giving up like promising careers in construction, a stable life. Giving up a stable life to do this. So I have to go far. I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice.
All in.
Yeah, all in.
Yeah.
All in, yeah.
How does your day look now though? Like between the studying and the training and everything like that, because like you say, you're all in now.
Yeah.
You can't half-ass this. Like there's no skipping class or that kind of thing.
I know. So my day last year, I was still working for a property development company. So I would train in the morning, go work until 5, come back after 5 and train again. But now for the last 6 months, January until June this year, I have to complete my studies because I was working in construction but without the qualification.
Right.
So I just need to complete it. So in the day, I still train in the morning, daytime, go to studies, go do some studies, and and then go train in the evening. But like the thing is with studies, especially in university, like you need to put in
it's full time itself.
Hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I find difficult is that a lot of the time you have to use that training time to study. But that is something like my parents would not like it. But I would never do. I would never go study over training. The way I look at it is that why would I give energy to something I don't want to do?
Right.
Over something I want to do. Over something that I'm obsessed with. That, I'm thinking about all day. It doesn't make sense. But we'll see how it goes. Just need to get the studies out the way so that I can train without feeling guilty.
So June you're done with the studies and okay.
So and then, technically, so it's theory. So I'm done going to campus, and then from June till December, we do like a practical.
Right.
For 6 months where you have to go work at a company.
Yes.
Yeah, and then after that, full time. I want to live in that gym.
At least then with the working, you'll be able. Yeah, look, I mean, we've got a young guy now as well. Spoke about the IMMAF. He just won the SA MMAF. I can't remember if it's welterweight or middleweight because he goes between the two.
Right.
But he's finished school, and I promise you, if you go to the gym from like when it opens at 5 a.m. till when it closes at 9 p.m, you'll always find him there. Like people always joking about like, he lives at the gym and you're always here kind of thing. But he also has that same dream of making it. And if I just look at the amount of time he's put in just this year between January and now, I mean, the difference in his game and everything is just changed. So the moment you get to do that, I mean, for you to be where you are now, having not had the opportunity to like fully go for it.
Yeah.
I know when you're there, you put everything into it, but like when that happens, it's actually gonna be quite. Yeah, that's going to be quite exciting to see. It's going to be scary for your division and your opponents, You can be like the, what did Kamara, that was 30%. Yeah. You can have your like, that was my 50%, Graham. I'm over 100 now,
Go, I'll do 100 for the title shot.
100% Tumelo, yeah. That's cool, man.
I mean, just, focusing on something you love and doing it, let's say for a year. For example, you gave example of that champ in your gym. A year could change everything. Like
for sure.
When I started at PFA, I know I did kickboxing before, but my striking wasn't, up to par. It wasn't where I wanted it to be. And like when I started training there, I started taking it seriously. Like I would, train in the morning, go work, come back, and your game shoots up so much. Wrestling, I had zero wrestling. Like literally zero wrestling. Now I can keep up with the wrestlers. I'm not saying I'm putting them down all the time, any of that. But like I have an idea, and that just came from 1 year of grinding. And my perspective is, imagine 5 years of grinding.
Yeah.
Where could you be? Just 5 years of
consistent,
pedal to the metal, just go. And that's why, like, I truly believe in my heart, like, I could be a UFC flyweight champ.
No, for sure.
I truly believe it.
You're on the right path, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I think it would be good to have remember, have you seen that Conor McGregor one where he's like, one day I will be UFC champion? Yeah. It'd be good to look back in a couple of years, hopefully at this.
Back to this.
Yeah. No, cool, man. But going forward, so once you're done with the studies and the practical work, then you're gonna put everything into it. Have you given yourself sort of goals or timelines? You don't have to say like when you want to be doing what, or you're just taking it one fight at a time.
In terms of like fighting or training?
No, I mean just like, if you say EFC champ by a certain time, or does that not even factor into your mind yet?
That's not even like in my mind yet. Like I just want to fight and be active, because you get champs out there, and let's say you get an EFC champ and then he doesn't fight in like 6-7 months. Like what's the point? You're not really growing an MMA game. So I just want to be active. I wanted to have 3 fights a year, 2 to 3 fights. This year I wanted 3 fights, but I got my first fight in May only. So we'll see if we can fit in 2 more fights. Probably only 1 more. But so I just want to stay active for as long as possible. Even if I have 30 professional fights, that's like a dream of mine. So just stay active. Don't turn down fights because you're scared or any of that. That's my goal going forward, to be honest. If titles come, they come. If they don't, they don't. But you're not going to get a title by dodging people,
right?
And not being active. So
yeah. Look, I mean, it's a good place to be. And as you, like we say, when you're done, you're going to be able to have that singular focus.
Yeah.
And it's a really good place to be, because you're going to be doing what you love, and everything else will fall into place,
right? Which
is the best way. You're not going to be forcing anything.
Yeah.
And trying to compare yourself to other people or anything like that. It's like, you just know, this is what I want to do.
Right.
I'm just going to train. I'm just going to fight when I can fight, and the rest will fall into place.
Yeah. Because like martial arts is like, it's a passion of mine, and not just the fighting aspect, like the whole like even teaching someone. Like I love it. I don't know if everyone else loves it, but like holding pads with someone and you telling them, no, your foot is in the wrong place or all that. That's like, I feel like martial arts gives people a sense of purpose. And a big reason why I'm doing MMA is that, I also want to show people that, I mean, school, I'm not gonna say, don't go to school and all that, but there are some people that go to school and they're failing at school. They're not getting along with anyone, and like, it's like the end of the world for them, So I just kind of want to show them that, there's martial arts as well. There's a way out. There's not only that one way, which you've been taught from grade 1. I feel like it's been drilled into your head. So there's another way, and it can be beneficial for people with like depression and drug problems. And, it's like, I don't know, I'm very passionate about it. I feel like there's a deeper meaning to martial art than everyone, can see, because they just see the fighting, the blood, the violence. Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to spread that message for people, doing what they love, because I mean, people can talk about job security. Right. You can talk about whatever it is, money, stability, whatever it is. If you're studying, right? And again, I'm not telling you don't study. I'm conveying that message.
Yeah.
I studied. I'm working as well in the corporate world. I really enjoy doing it. But for a lot of people don't, like you say. You talk about job stability or security. When you're studying for those 3 or 4 years, you're giving up everything to do that. Okay. So now remember, you're giving up everything. That's also another thing that people say, oh, but you can't give up everything to pursue your own dreams. But you're giving up everything to pursue a dream you're not 100% sure about. If it is even a dream for some people, because some people study and they're just studying something because either their parents told them to do it, they think it's something good, they think it pays a lot, whatever. Then you get to working world. Okay, first of all, you got no security that you're going to have a job, especially in our economy and in our setting. It doesn't really matter. Some professions maybe you'll be guaranteed one, but I can tell you anything from engineering to, like, I studied engineering. I was civil engineering degree. I don't do engineering anymore. When I finished studying, we all told, study engineering, it's secure. This is booming construction. It's not at all. So you've got no security of getting a job, and then you might get a job, and then it might be it's not what you thought you would have done. You wanted to do something else, and then it's like, well, I'll take that job because that's available. And I don't want to sit with no money and no job. Then you're already like, you're already doing what you don't want to do. And then it can become a very vicious spiral or cycle very quickly. And even in a business setting, you're working super hard, you're getting all your targets or whatever it is, you're making money for the business. It's someone else's dream a lot of the times. You know? Yeah, if you share the vision of the business and you enjoy what you're doing, the money is secondary. Right? But you can put just as much into someone else's dream as into your own dream. So why not just, you know, if you have the chance, and again, you need to think about it properly first, but people put everything into someone else's dream or everything into something they don't like every single day.
All day, every day.
And I'd say, I mean, of course, majority of people. How many people do you hear that don't like their job? If you'd spoken to them in university, they would have been like, oh yeah, I can't wait to be this or that or that. So the point I'm making, the long-winded point I'm trying to make is, if you have the chance to chase your dreams, go for it. You can always go study again. You can always go and work again. You can always do that. You can't always chase your dream.
And people are scared of failing. Like, what if I do this and I fail? And failure is part of life. You're gonna fail. You're gonna lose some fights. You're gonna get beaten up in training sometimes. Like, I just feel like it's a mental thing. Once you get over the fear of failing, you know, the sky's the limit. And, you know, I'm 24 now. And I know, like, not lots of people get this opportunity to, like, I feel like I'm taking it for granted sometimes to go study and, you know, have a job at, like, a property developer and all that. But like, you have to go for what you want, to be honest. And before, especially if there are people my age out there, before you move out, you know, before you start paying rent, before you start paying a car, before you have kids, I feel like, in my opinion, that's the best time to take a risk.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the best time. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know, it's just words for now, but I want to prove it to people, you know, that it's the best time. You know, I started my first year in university, 2019. So I've been, like, splitting up my studying, failing here and there. So the people I started with have finished, right? And a lot of them, they're like, you see on their status, like, oh, I hate my job. I wish I learned another skill. I'm like, you know, and you could have. It's just the timing, you know, and you really believed in what they sold you for the first, for 12 years of your life in school. You believed it. And
job security, man.
Yeah, I never believed it. I still don't. But then again, with that being said, you do need doctors. You do need engineers for buildings, and, you know,
And there are people that love that, and that is their true love. But yeah, man, like, you're fortunate to have picked it up early, and you know, come the end of the year, it's going to be full time into everything and living your dreams, and
fingers crossed.
Can't wait to see all of that. I think it's a good place to end it, man. Chase your dreams. Don't give up on your dreams, and yeah, man, we'll be watching very closely to see what your career has, and very, very excited to see what happens next. And Gift Walker, Tumelo, interim title or title proper if you wanna say that. Next fight, let's see it, please.
And one more message is that for anyone my age, please trust yourself. Like I gave the example earlier of me going professional, that I didn't know where I was going to train, but you have to take that leap. You have to trust yourself. People around you are going to tell you, oh no, that's impossible. But if you know it deep down in your heart that you can do it, you should do it.
No, awesome, man. That's a great message, dude.
Thank you.
Well, thanks, Tumelo. I appreciate it. We'll definitely be watching.
Yes.
I'll see you next weekend, maybe, I think, for the open match as well, for the, in the new PFA. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Place looks awesome.
Choke me out quickly.
I don't know about that, but awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thanks for having me.